Welcome, everybody. We're going to kick off right now. I'm going to hand it over to Vidor, and he will get us started. Thanks, everybody, for joining so far. We look forward to having you for the next 30 minutes.
Thanks, Katie. Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome on behalf of the Newbury team. I'm so glad you could join us for today's commissions webinar. I'm Vidor Bali. I lead our business intelligence and reporting practice. And really over the last year and a half, we've helped several clients streamline and enhance their commissions program. With each implementation, we refined that approach, we found where the pitfalls are, and really got it to a point where the solution's scalable. It works with the technology stack that you're already using and probably don't even know about. And so to walk you through our magic formula and not keep it a secret, I'm going to hand over the reins to our ACE managing consultants, Jen Myers and Renee Haynes.
Awesome. Thanks, Vidor, and thanks everyone for joining us today. So I am super excited to walk you through how Newbury simplifies commissions. So Jennifer Myers, a managing consultant with Newbury. I'm on the BI team here and have been with the company for about 5 years now, and I'm joining you from the Twin Cities of Minnesota. And if you haven't worked with me before, I love data. I've worked with staffing firms to help them better understand their data, report on it, and it's truly something that I'm passionate about. And I'm also joined today by my colleague, Renee Haynes, or as I like to call her, the middle office guru, because she saves my butt anytime I have clients with complex pay bill questions that I need help with. So Renee, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Hi, everyone. I'm Renee Haynes. I'm also a managing consultant here at Newbury Partners, and I typically focus on implementing Bullhorn One and any other middle office solutions. So like Jen, I've also been with Newbury for about 5 years, and I'm a very passionate person in general, but I'm very passionate about working with our customers and finding those right solutions for them because I've lived through that pain in the past. And it's just awesome when I have the opportunity to help others overcome any kind of challenges. So before joining Newbury, I spent over 20 years working in the staffing industry where I managed payroll and billing. So I definitely know firsthand how complicated commission structures can get. So for today, Jen and I are going to walk you guys through a realistic scenario of a client dealing with complex commissions and show you guys how we actually solve for that. So to kind of start, we use a document called the Commissions Workflow, Understand Your Commission Structures. And this just helps us gather information from our customers. It helps us get a quick look into what their commission structures are today, all the different systems where their commission data is captured, what plans they have in place, and just how often they're processing commissions. So we complete this document together with our customers during an initial meeting we have. But for the purposes of this call today, we're going to have to walk you guys through a completed document, what that looks like within our commission solution. So starting at the top section of that document in this left category, this just identifies all the different areas that would contain information used for commission calculations. So this particular customer uses 3 different data sources for their commission details. They have an ATS system, which is Bullhorn One, and that's where they store all their placement and timesheet data. Their HR accounting system is ADP, and in ADP, they store their roll and their draw advances. And then like everybody else in the world, they use Excel. In Excel, they store their commission tiers, and they also use Excel to consolidate all their data and perform the actual commission calculations. So in that middle category, this tells us the event that triggers the calculations of commissions. So this particular customer selected cutoff date, which to them means that just on the second Wednesday of each month, that's when they run all their different reports to ensure they've captured a full month of timesheet data. And in that right category, that just lets us know the frequency on how often commissions are calculated and paid out. So the one most commonly used is monthly, like in this example, but our commission solution can literally accommodate any frequency that you guys have. So, hey, Jen, like when we're reviewing the top section of this document, is it a problem that their data lives in multiple systems like this? And does this work for customers using Bullhorn One as their actual ATS?
Yeah, so it's definitely not a problem. Our solution is ATS agnostic. So it's actually very common for clients to have data that's spread across multiple systems. We see that very often. It's typically that they are pulling their data from different systems and reports, and then they're consolidating this data in Excel, where they then handle the calculations, their tiers. So our commissions process is designed to solve for exactly this scenario. And we'll actually walk through this type of example later in detail in this webinar, but essentially we pull the placement and pay bill data out of the ATS, and then we store it in a central data warehouse. And then we combine it with information from Excel or from HR systems like ADP. So, and then to your point about Bullhorn One, we do have a lot of experience working with Bullhorn One. In fact, the Newberry BI team has built a lot of those standard Bullhorn One pay bill reports. So we're uniquely familiar with how that data comes together.
Sweet. So I'm glad you've seen this kind of situation before and that your automation already solves for it, because we know it's super common to have information like scattered like literally everywhere. So that's great to know. So like we move into the bottom section of that document, this particular category just allows a customer to select from common commission plans that we typically see. No, that does not mean that our solution only accommodates these plans, because if you look in the bottom of the document, there's a blank text box, and that's where customers can add additional information regarding any specific or exception plans they have, or just any kind of special scenarios to them. So like in this particular example, this customer has 3 core commission plans. They have tiered structures, they have role-based plans, and they also allow draws to be taken out against their commissions. So like if you look in the right column of this category, it's called our complexity. So for example, if we look at a flat percentage per placement, that's a very simple calculation, because basically every placement would be calculated with that flat percentage. However, if we talk about exceptions, it's a little bit more unknown, just depending on that customer specific case to determine the complexity of that particular calculation. Because like, look, let's be real, guys. Exceptions never happen in the staffing role, right? The reality is that there's always exceptions, and we do take that into consideration. So if we look in this particular example, this customer has a couple different exceptions and use cases. One, sometimes their individuals get different percentages that are different from the standard plans. And then 2, they also have these special plans for when recruiters are promoted to account managers. They may receive a higher percentage for those first 6 months if they're in that new role. And then if you just look at the bottom right corner of this document, this is just letting us know how many individuals that they currently pay out commissions for. So this particular customer had 60 people that they calculate and pay out commissions for each month. So Jen, when we're looking at Newberry solution, does it handle these kinds of exceptions and these kind of scaling needs?
Yeah, so the beauty is that clients can still manage their tiers, exceptions, burdens, and they can do that in Excel table, but they no longer calculate those payouts manually. So the system automatically applies their unique plans to their financial commissions data, and then it handles historical reruns with effective dating. So with that effective dating built in, you don't need to go through that headache anymore where you run a file at a specific time and then you have to store it somewhere. And if you need to make changes or rerun your commissions, you kind of have to redo that whole process, right? You can just rerun it anytime for any period, and you get the commissions calculations for any user. So it's really nice for those frustrating situations where, you know, a candidate or recruiter forgot to enter something on time, and now that process has to be rerun. So something that could take your commissions manager like 30 minutes or longer to process ends up only being an additional payment of what, like $5 or $10. So you know, they still have to do that because that commissions recipient needs to get paid correctly. But with the ability to do reruns at any time, they no longer have to go through that headache to get it done. And then with the personalized plans, so you mentioned they're set up, you know, with their promotion that happens after they get moved from a recruiter to an account manager. So those plans, they're just set up like any other commission plan, and they're effective dated. So when someone is promoted, the system knows to calculate that higher rate for 6 months and then roll them into the standard plan. And then your question on scalability, so that's not an issue. We support small agencies, enterprise agencies, and even some of the small companies that we've seen, they might not need an entire data warehouse. So we've worked with clients and we've helped them to build custom objects where they can store their commissions plans and then the roles within Bullhorn custom object. So we can work with, depending on the size of the agency, will match the needs with the commission solution. So whether you have like 100 or 1,000 commission recipients, the solution processes calculations automatically, and it allows for easy scalability.
Come on, Jen. That sounds like a whole bunch of magical stuff happening there. Can you pull back your little magic curtain you have over there and show us what a solution would actually look like for this customer?
Well, Renee, you know that I'm a data wizard. So if you will follow me into the land of Oz, or as I like to call it, Newberry's demo, we can take a look. All right. So here we're looking at the report library in Newberry's mockup. So you'll notice that we have those commission reports. And then there are also some blurred out categories. So no, your eyes are not broken. Those represent other types of reporting that Newberry offers in the BI portal. So stay tuned for a future webinar on that as well. But today we are here to talk about commissions. So let's go ahead and click into the commission summary. All right, so here we are starting with what a recruiter or account manager would see on their commission summary dashboard. So this view, a user can see their gross profit for the current month. They can see it split out by employment type, so contract, perm placements. They can see it along with their total commissions and year-to-date earnings, and then viewed by their commissions period cycles. And then we can also create graphs for visual indicators so that they can see how they're performing over time. Now, keep in mind, this is all customizable. So if you're saying, months isn't really how we track our commissions, that's fine. We can customize it based on what your commission cycle looks like.
Okay, so I think it's definitely helpful for recruiters to see like a summary like that. But I know one of the real pain points is getting to the why behind their payouts. They want to have the ability to like really drill in and actually see how it's calculated so that they can trust those numbers. Can they do that here in this dashboard?
Yeah, that's a really good point. We know from our clients that transparency is key. It's important that all the commission recipients can trust and validate their payouts.
Yep.
So from this summary view, we would click the view details. And this is going to open up that detailed view for the selected commission recipient. So from here, they can see all the placements contributing to their payouts, and it makes it easy to validate calculations, spot discrepancies, and even perform their own audits if something appears to be missing. So we know that in most cases, if something is missing, it just means that data is missing, like in the ATS. And so it just needs to get completed in the system. And if you want, the users can actually see this as it accumulates throughout the commissions period, so they can see in real time what their estimated payout will be. And for some people, that's a huge incentive to get them out there earning more.
Yep.
And with this, with this level of transparency, the commission recipients, they're able to easily audit, correct, and then confirm their payouts.
Okay, so that's super insightful for folks to be able to see like that level of detail. That's just one of the biggest struggles for people getting commissions, that they rarely get that level of visibility into the breakdown so that they can really understand what makes up their commission calculations. But quick question for you, Jen. Is there a spot where they can actually see what plan they're on and what their tier thresholds are?
Yeah, so if we click the plan rules, draws and adjustments tab, you'll see all that info. It's organized by period. So this includes the draw amounts that are being applied, as well as the tiers that each recipient is associated with. So if someone wants to double check that the correct percentages are being applied, then they can review that level of detail here.
Okay, so like that's super helpful from that individual level, but let's think a little bit bigger, Jen. What if I'm managing a region or a team? So like, can someone like an area manager get that same full view of their group's data like this as well?
Yeah, so let's flip back to that summary view. Okay, so managers can see the aggregated payouts for their teams or the entire company. Right now we're in a demo and we have it filtered just to an individual. But these filters that you see at the top, they're totally customizable. So if you want to see it by whatever your company's hierarchy is using, so maybe you want to see it by department, or you want to see it by branch, or maybe there's different time periods that you want to see, we can add that as a filter to the dashboard. So a commissions manager could come in here and they would just need to filter to see that summary view that they want. And then one other piece I want to mention is that we know in order to calculate commissions, we need other financial data as a base, right? So we need GP, we need GM, we need revenue. And so with the commission solution, you're also going to get those important financial details out of the box. So it's really nice that you can also have a spot that you go to review that high level financial information by your company's hierarchy and by your financial periods too.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. It's like you built like this one-stop shop for managers to see their team's commission, their GPs, and all that financial insight in one place. I love that. And actually, that just reminded me of something. I recall this customer telling me that they evaluate and sometimes change their tier percentages annually. Like, how would an actual commissions admin person manage those types of changes?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And so everything we've looked at so far has been from the dashboard point of view, where the commission recipients would come to view their commissions. But what you're asking is where the commission managers would then make updates to plans over time. So let's take a look at that. So it is going to depend on your tech stack being used. Newbury does recommend Microsoft. And in that setup, we would typically manage these updates through a file stored on SharePoint. And from there, the administrators can manage their roles, manage their plan assignments, the draws and guarantees, adjust tier structures, individual exceptions, and everything is version controlled. So with SharePoint, we are able to see when it was modified, who modified it. You can click it and see who made the change. And then our files are also effective dated. So everything is historically accurate and traceable. And if we click into one of these files here, you can see the individual commission recipients and the plans they are associated with. So you can see that we have that effective dating component, so that if a commission recipient leaves the company or changes plans, they can end their plan and then start them on a new plan. And then if we look at the other file here where we have the commissions tiers, these are effective dated as well, so that as the organization removes, adds, or updates plans, like as you mentioned, if they're doing those annual updates to their tier structures over time, they can still see historical commissions.
Okay, so like the standard plans totally make sense to me, but I'm wondering about those edge cases that we talked about. Remember that scenario that where a recruiter gets promoted to account manager and earns a different rate for 6 months? How do they handle those kinds of variations?
Okay, yeah, so let's get that added to our example and zoom in here. So we can see those are handled in the same place as the other roles and commissions tiers. It would simply be added as a separate plan. So for your example, we have this unique plan name, the 3% recruiter to account manager promotional role. And so for the time when they're in that promotion period, they would get assigned to this role. And then when they are done with that 6-month period, they would get moved over to the standard account manager role. So then now let's see how that affects the specific recipient as well. So here we would set an effective date on the recruiter plan. And then once they get their promotion, excuse me, they would move over to that account manager promotional plan for that 6-month period. And then after that's up, they would just, again, roll over into that standard account manager plan. The nice thing is that when you know that promotion has occurred, it can all then get set up in advance. And so there's no need to wait for the actual transition to take place. And then once it's entered into the commission plan file, it will just automatically switch from the old plan to the promotional plan and then to the final standard plan, all based on the effective dates.
wow, so it's like awesome. So like people that, people get busy in their day-to-day lives and they're going to forget to do that in 6 months. I know I would. But so they can just kind of like set it and leave it, which is something I definitely love. Okay, I am probably not the only person wondering this, but remember they've got data coming from everywhere. They've got Bullhorn, ADP, and Excel. How does all of this actually get pulled together into one place for these dashboards?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we pull all the data sources into a central data warehouse. And so we can do that via APIs. It just depends on the data source. We also know that some clients have like Bullhorn Data Mirror, so we can pull that into the data warehouse as well. And then those Excel files are automatically ingested to manage the plans and tiers. And then we set refresh cycles. So depending on what you want to see, right, you can see near real time or pretty close to your data in the data warehouse. And then the automation engine is going to calculate commissions, and it's going to output those dashboard reports, and as well as a payroll ready export. So once it's all configured, there's no more manual reporting or reconciliation. It's all automated and it's all auditable. And then if we look at what Newberry recommends as a tech stack, so we do suggest using Microsoft, and specifically Microsoft Fabric. So this setup allows you to pair your custom warehouse with dashboards and Power BI, and it also allows for AI capabilities for deeper insights. And that AI piece is really key because, here's the thing. AI, it's not slowing down, right? If your company isn't using AI, it's not that you're standing still, right? It's that you're getting left behind. It's really transforming the way that businesses work, and especially in the staffing industry. So if your custom data warehouse is able to have AI built in capabilities from day one, so it's not just an advantage, right? That's a huge game changer for you. Now, that said, we're agnostic to the tech stack, and we will work with whatever the client prefers. So AWS, Azure, it's totally fine. I'm also certified in Tableau, so we can fully support that as well. But we are finding that most of our clients are already embedded in the Microsoft tech stack, and Newberry has a lot of experience and can help you. So sometimes it's complex to navigate the licensing piece, so we can help you with that. All right, Renee, I know that was a lot of info, and I hope that helped to paint a high-level picture for you of what's going on behind the scenes.
No, absolutely. It's really just a huge improvement from like how customers are calculating commissions today, because we got to remember that most teams are pulling that data in manually from multiple different sources. They're trying to merge it all together just to calculate commissions each month. It takes time, it's error prone, and honestly, it just leaves a lot of room for doubt. So like now with your solution, everything would be fully automated and aligned in one place. That gives them that consistent logic, transparency, and it's just a way less manual work. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, for sure. So not to mention, that the people receiving commission payments are revenue generating, and they like their money and they like it to be on time and accurate. So Jen, let me ask you this. If someone on this webinar is thinking like, wow, we need something like this, what's the best way for them to take those next steps?
Yeah, so next steps, the first one would be to complete that commissions workflow discovery document that we reviewed at the beginning of this webinar. And if you already have a Newberry contact, you can work directly with them to get that document completed. If you're new to Newberry, you can reach out to Katie Lawler. She's on this webinar today. Hey, Katie. Her booking link is included in the slide deck, and the slide deck will be shared with all the webinar attendees after it's completed. And then once the document is complete, our commissions team will schedule a discovery session. So our discovery typically lasts like 1 to 3 weeks, depending on the complexity of your commission structure. So during this time, we're going to gather all the requirements needed to automate the commissions. And we're going to do this by conducting interactive workshops with your team. And so essentially we have to sit down with the people that are doing it today to understand how they're doing it. And then we're going to play back what we've heard to ensure that we haven't missed anything. We are going to document all the data sources, the calculations, the tiers that are required to complete a successful commission cycle. So essentially what we're doing is, you guys go through a lot every commission cycle to get that information out to your teams. And so we really just need to make sure that we're understanding that so that way we can automate it. And then as part of the discovery process, we'll also review your current architecture and design with you a future state architecture that's aligned with your goals. And then at the end of discovery, you'll receive a detailed proposal that outlines the cost, the timeline that it takes to implement your automated solution. So yeah, we're just trying to understand how you do it today, so that way we can automate it for you.
I've worked with a lot of customers over the years, and I've heard time and again how painful commission calculations can be. Honestly, this is just a big relief for the people that are doing the actual calculations and then the ones trying to make sense of that. So Jen, just real quick, thank you so much for walking us through all that in such great detail. Really appreciate that. Maybe we can go ahead and shift over to our audience for any questions that you guys might have about our Newbury Commission solutions. Just go ahead and drop those in the chat. If for some reason we don't get through all the questions together now, we'll definitely follow up after the webinar to answer any of those. So let's see. Are you guys going to be on the implementation team? Well, maybe, maybe not. We're just lucky ones that got to talk with you guys today. So I know, Jen, while we would both love to work with every customer, the reality is we have a very large, talented BI middle office team. They're every bit as capable of working with you guys throughout this journey just as much as we are. So if it's not us, you guys are definitely in excellent hands. Let's see. Can you talk about how many cycles can you run for commissions? Jen, do you want to take that one?
Oh, yeah, sure. So yeah, you can run the commissions process, and during that discovery document that Renee had shown earlier, it actually asks you like what your commissions periods that you're using are, and it was if we recall, it wasn't like select one, right? You can select multiple. It's super common that clients are going to pay out commissions. Maybe they do it monthly, maybe they have some that are quarterly, maybe they then have some that are coming at year end. And so we have seen that, and we have accounted for that in this commission solution. And then I'm also not sure, maybe this question could be also asking about like how often can you actually then run the report? And I think I spoke to that a little bit, but you can rerun it at any time just because we have that effective dating in there, so you can feel free to rerun it and you don't have to worry about again running it and then saving it off somewhere because you can only like run it one time. I know a lot of clients where today they run the report on a given day and then it can't be run after that, so you won't be seeing that anymore. Do we got any other questions?
No, that definitely wouldn't work for me for sure. I like to run reports multiple times. Let's see. Yeah, I think we have time for one more. Can the commission tiers and plans reside in Bullhorn? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the key is just figuring out if Bullhorn is the best home for your commission tiers. It can easily be done in a custom object. We've definitely done that many times for customers in the past, and it works totally fine. It's really just going to come down to the complexity of your plans and deciding the best place to actually manage them. Just whatever really makes the best sense. That's something that we'll explore together in detail during those discovery sessions that Jen talked about earlier, and just to determine what the right approach is for your business. So I definitely see some more questions coming through, but that's all the time we have right now together to go through those. But again, we will definitely follow up after this webinar to ensure each of those questions are answered. I'll turn it over now to our fabulous Kaylee Lawler to close us out. But before doing so, again, just on behalf of Jen and I, we know you guys are busy. We thank you for taking time out of your days to join us to go through this commissions webinar. We hope you guys are as excited about commissions as we are. But again, thank you for your time. So Katie, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Renee. I know we have about 30 seconds left. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. For anyone who wants more information, I did put my information into the chat. Also, feel free to throw a Y in there if you'd like a copy of the discovery worksheet. We can send that to your email. But I did have on the screen just all the areas in and where we can help and lean in as part of your team. So when you think about projects for the year, growth for the end of the year, already planning for 2026, we're more than happy to act as an extension to your team and be here for anything you need. You met a portion of the business intelligence team today, but we have a number of different practice areas that you see on the screen where we can help out and do anything you need there. So we are at time, but I appreciate everybody, and I will be sure to get those emails out to you no later than end of day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye, all.
everybody.